we go. Hello and welcome to Science Class 902. Mr. McJinglebottoms had some urgency to take care of, so I will be your substitute teacher for today. I don't know where Mr. McJinglebottoms left off since, he didn't really tell me. Yes, it was that urgent. So, rather than stressing out and learning about the materials for the finals, let's take a little break and just talk about some topics that actually matter. So, here's the question that I would like to address with the class. Why is the sky blue? Well, this was a question that stuck to me, and I never really thought about it. If you're a math teacher like me that never gave a damn about it, you would probably have misconceptions or have believed that, I don't know, maybe because it reflects the ocean? Or maybe oxygen is actually a blue-colored gas? Or because the sun has blue tint? Well, the last answer is only half right. But you can't say that it's true because it's only partially, correct. You see, you can't hear me through the very loud BGM. Let me tone that down a little bit. Yes. Well, today we are here to learn, together. Hari ini kita akan belajar bersama-sama. Okay? So there are lots of misconceptions and lots of incorrect answers. And I'm sure that a lot of you guys already know. Kalian udah pasti tahu semua sih. But this is just to remind you that no, it is not because of the ocean. Miss Crazy, what do you mean it's partially right? Are you saying that the sun's ray is actually blue? That can't be. The sun is orange. No, the sun is white. Wait, isn't the sun yellow, Miss Ollie? Well, my little beautiful pupils, to answer your first question, the sun is essentially all of the colors mixed together, which usually would appear to our eyes as white. Have you guys ever bought those little glass prisms from your local friendly neighborhood garage sales? When the sunlight goes here, it suddenly turns into a rainbow over here? Remember that? Yeah, you'll usually see a rainbow shining through the other side, right? That's because the prism is specifically shaped into a crystal that separates the light into its colors. Like, you know how I said that the sunlight is a mix of all of the colors? If you put it through the prism, it basically scatters the colors around them. Alright? Understandable? Any questions? No? Okay, moving on. So, if we were about to talk about the big rainbows that you usually see naturally up in the sky, those are the results from the light of the sun being separated through its original color. So I guess you can say that when it's raining, you know how rainbows are made, right? Rainbows usually show up after it rains and the sun goes up. When the sun goes up, there's suddenly a rainbow. Now, how is this rainbow formed? Well, that's because, you see, the rain droplets from the rain, they kind of have a similar role to the prism that we just talked about earlier. Yes, because when the sunlight hits the rain droplets, some of the light gets reflected and the many different wavelengths, aka the lights that are mixed in, or aka the electromagnetic spectrum, gets reflected into a different angle like this. Thus, when the lights get separated, it creates like a rainbow with, if you guys can tell, why is red on the very top? That's because red has the longest wavelength out of all of the colors, with blue being the shortest wavelength out of the electromagnetic spectrum. Yes. So, a little trivia about the electromagnetic spectrum. Although the only visible light that we can see is actually white, there are other types of light around us. One of the famous ones are the ultraviolet radiation that usually the ladies would be very beware of because it's not, it could damage your skin and whatnot. There's also X-rays. There's also infrared radiation, and a lot more. Some others are like radio waves, and there's also this thing called gamma rays. Like, you know, gamma rays? Not Hizaki gamma, but like literal light lasers, kind of, not really. Yes, and also, microwaves. Yeah, microwaves also give out those sorts of energies. It's pretty cool. Pretty neat, right? Yeah. So, anyways, let me just get rid of this real quick. Right. Back to our original question. Why is the sky blue? Well, that's because the blue light is scattered in all directions by the little tiny molecules in Earth's atmosphere. So, if I were to draw, imagine that this is Earth. Yes. And imagine that this is the atmosphere. Wait, maybe I should. Imagine that this is the atmosphere. And this is the sun and the light emitting from it. Right? So, as I told you guys before, in the sun, the sunlight is actually a mix of multiple colors, and they also have a blue tint, right? And when the sun goes down to the atmosphere, the blue light is scattered in all directions by the tiny little molecules in the Earth's atmosphere. So blue is scattered more than the other colors because it travels. No, not it travels, because the wavelength is a lot more shorter. We discussed this, right? Because the color red is the longest wavelength out of all of the colors. Blue is the shortest. Therefore, blue scatters quite a lot more. And, well, that's why we see blue sky most of the time. Yes. And when closer to the horizon, the sky usually fades to a lighter blue or white. Hence, sometimes maybe in Southeast Asia, you'd see white skies or lighter blue skies. Yes, or maybe that's just air pollution. We never know. Yes, and the sunlight reaching us from the low part in the sky has passed through even more that the air. Wait, what? I'm sorry, I'm not explaining well. So the sunlight, when reaching us from the low point in the sky, has passed through even more air than the sunlight reaching us from over the head. So, the sunlight, when passed through all this air, the air molecules will scatter and rescatter the light blue, but many times in like so many directions. So basically it goes and then goes, you know? Yes. Yeah, and usually during sunset or sunrise, the angle at which the sunlight enters the atmosphere is significantly changed. Like, let's say we're having a sunset or a sunrise. This can be either. Well, since it's going to the west, I guess it's a sunset. Yeah, when it's a sunset, the sunlight enters the atmosphere in a significantly different angle, see? And most of the blue and green, or the shorter wavelengths of the light, are scattered even before the lower atmosphere. So we usually see more orange and reddish color. Yeah, that's where the warmer color comes in, you know? Yes. And this is what we usually call the Rayplay scattering. Wait, scattering only has one R. Excuse me. I'm a math teacher, not an English teacher. There we go, the Rayleigh scattering. So the Rayleigh scattering is basically where the sunlight in the Earth's atmosphere causes diffusion of the sky radiation. Yes. Understood? Yeah, pambiasan. Yes. Teacher, your legs are on your desk. Doesn't matter. You guys can put your legs on your desk too. It's only me, after all. Yes, so this brings us to another question. Miss Ollie, so is the sky blue in other planets as well? Well, to be honest, it depends. Yes, different atmosphere means different colored skies. For example, in Mars has a thinner atmosphere than us. Yes, a very, very thin atmosphere that's made mostly by carbon dioxide. Yes. It's quite different from Mars because our atmosphere it consists of 78% of nitrogen, 21% of perfect oxygen, 0.9% of argon, and 0.1% of other gases. Yes. So basically, we have different atmospheres. The atmosphere in Earth is different, it's a lot thicker, while in Mars it's a lot more thinner, you know? Hence, their sky looks a lot dustier and brownish. And when the sun sets in Mars, the angle will change that will cause the sky to turn into this bluish gray color. Yes. So from this, we can conclude that usually in Mars, the wavelengths, the orange, the yellow, the reddish wavelengths, they travel a lot more than the shorter wavelengths. The shorter wavelengths usually travel during nighttime, you know? Yes. Which begs us to the next question. Oleh karena itu, kita langsung ke pertanyaan berikutnya. So, if the sky is blue thanks to the tiny molecules of our Earth's atmosphere and the little blue tints from the sun going all around, then why is the sea blue? Right? If the sky is not blue because of the sea, then how is the sea blue if not because of the sky? Right? Well, to answer your question, the ocean is not blue because it reflects the sky. Yes, so here's another lesson for all of you guys. Water actually appears blue due to its absorption of the red light. Yeah, there we go. The photon's absorption. Anya Melfisa, everybody, give it up. Stand up, everybody. We give her a standing innovation. All the claps, all the claps. It is thanks to the photon's absorption. So you see, basically when the light hits water, the water's molecules absorb some of the photons from the light, you know? But if you look through a glass or any shallow body of water, the light usually goes through completely because there's not enough water to absorb the photons. So we see the water as colorless, you know? So when it comes to deeper waters, like let's say here's a deep water, lots of water, not all of the wavelengths of light can 100% impale the liquid, as there are too many water molecules in the way of the photons. So the water molecules absorb all of the red wavelengths from the light and making it reflect blue. So that's why shallower water appears less or lighter blue than the deeper ones, because there's less absorption, means less reflection. So you guys usually see from let's say you guys are looking from Google Maps or the satellites, you guys are checking all the maps. If you guys see an island, usually around the island it would be light green, and then the rest of it would be just dark blue, right? That's because the water around the island is a lot more shallower. See, we already have We already have like our own evidence. It proves to us that shallow water does have lighter color than deeper water. So basically, it's because of the photons. It's because of the light too. Yes. That is all. So any questions before we end the class? Sebelum kita mengakhiri kelasnya, apakah ada pertanyaan? No? Not at all? Does this mean Ollie absorbed blue photons? No. Question, Professor, yes. But... So why are trees green? Trees are green because they have... Wait. What is it called? Hijau daun ya? Hijau daun namanya apa ya bahasa Inggrisnya ya? Basically, less molecules is less absorption. There we go. A+. For Anya Melafisa, everybody. Yeah, chlorophyll. That's because of the chlorophyll. Not hijau daun. This is because of the chlorophyll that's inside the leaves. So when you say, why are trees green? Trees aren't green. The leaves are, because they contain chlorophyll. Chlorophyll. I'm sorry for the Indonesian spelling. Yes. Question, Professor, is the sun yellow? The sun is a mixture of 3 main colors, which are... Here, let me draw a sun. The sun's main colors are blue, yellow, and if I'm correct, white. But all of this gets mixed together into a visible light. So we usually see sun as white. Yes. Yes, so it becomes white. White is a color? Yes. Question, shouldn't purple light get even more scattered, thus making the sky purple? That I'm not sure. Usually we see purple sky during, what is it? Sunrise, right? During twilight. Twilight. Right? That's because... Please do correct me if I'm wrong. You know how, it's because at a certain angle, the red light and the blue light, they kind of combine and they become purple. Is that it? I don't know. I think that's it. But if it's false, I'm very sorry. Hi. Question, is the sun yellow? It is not. It kinda is. It kinda is. It's like a mixture of lots of colors. But from our eyes, it's visible as white. Yes. What about moon colors? You see, the moon is basically... This is the moon, and this is the sun, and this is Earth. If we ever see the moon from our perspective, that's because the sunlight reflects from the moon to Earth. But because it's only a reflection, it's not as intense as the light that the sun usually gives us during the daytime. You know? Yes. It's pulling you in. So I guess that's it for class. We still have 30 minutes before our last bell. So let me tell you guys a little story that my mom once told me. There was once... Oh, shoot. There was once a sun, and there was also a moon. This Sun-kun is very, very good friends with Moon-chan. They hang out, they talk to each other, they just like chilling a lot. But one day, Sun-kun meets up with a different lady, and her name is Water-chan. Yeah. Water-chan is one of the most beautiful things that Sun-kun has ever seen. So Sun-kun begins to hang out with Water-chan a lot more than Moon-chan. This makes Moon-chan very, very sad. Yes. So in one night, when the stars are all up, stars, Moon-chan said to the stars, "Man, you guys are shining so bright. I wish I could join you guys." And when the stars heard Moon-chan's wish, they decided to adopt her. And then Moon-chan is now in the sky. Yes. After a while, Sun-kun begins to realize that Water-chan is actually a salty bitch. Water-chan doesn't listen to him. Water-chan is very selfish, would drown anyone in its way. Doesn't tolerate with Sun-kun's heat. So they fight a lot. And Sun-kun begins to miss Moon-chan. And so Sun-kun looked everywhere for Moon-chan and found out that, Moon-chan actually became one with the sky. Moon-chan is up there with the stars. Sun-kun feels really sad. He found out that Moon-chan just feels really left out and feels betrayed by him because he left her for Water-chan. Sun-kun wants to apologize, but he knows that he doesn't have the right to earn her apology. So what he did is that he also transported himself to the sky, became one with the sky, but instead of apologizing to Moon-chan directly, he just supports her from the back. Hence Moon-chan can shine with the others at night. Yes. But because Sun-kun doesn't want to meet up with Moon-chan, Sun-kun is usually up during the day, so that Moon-chan doesn't have like PTSD upon meeting him, So the reason to why there's usually high tides at night is because Water-chan gets very jealous of Moon-chan because Water-chan knows that Sun-kun is actually supporting Moon-chan from behind. So she always goes into this high tide because she tries to drown Moon-chan, even though she's very far up over there, Yeah. And that is it for today's class. Can I go home now, Teach? Yeah, let's go home. はい、じゃあ、お疲れ様でした。Good job, everyone. Don't forget to turn in your math homework on our next meeting. Okay, I'm only a substitute here. If Mr. Mick Jinglebottoms ever say anything, tell him that I did a great job teaching you guys about physics and whatnot. Thank you. Alright. See you guys in the next class.